Okay, Tamaksistiko. It is a fairly breezy April 13th, a Monday in 2015. In the last quarter of the moon Sa'aki, some the duck moon, and I am out here at the confluence of the St. Mary's and Old Man Rivers in an area that I know as Pitsiksinakawachko, the snake coulee, although there's several areas with this name. I know it's also known as Akenisko, like many berries. Some people translate it as, some people translate it as many deaths, because Fort Whoop-Up was actually just a little ways over from the confluence here on the area that is now the Blood Reserve. And I'm out here really kind of doing some scouting work in preparation for my classes tomorrow evening and the following Sunday, mirrored classes out here, where I plan to show my students some of the edible roots as well as some of the insects that are coming out this time of year. Just now I'm noticing one of the insects, this green stink bug here that will be around all summer. It's already out. Unfortunately, like I knew this to be the case and I should have thought about it beforehand, but this road here, which has been cleared out end of last summer, beginning of early winter, this road has been really stripped by the parks all the way down this way and around. Unfortunately, not only did that stripping pose a kind of a danger to the rattlesnakes and some others who live here, but also it's disrupted some of my regular cycle of phenological observation and of harvest. Some of the plants that I would normally get from here have been eradicated because they're plants that grow mainly from seeds being dispersed by heavy traffic, by human traffic, as well as deer and other such things. One of those plants is this one over here, which is the hairy fruited parsley. It's basically a biscuit root, a starchy root, and I'll be looking for big plants of this, and they used to grow all along this trail. You can see there's some smaller ones here, smaller starts. They may actually have larger roots, it's hard to tell, but they've been disrupted. There's some here starting to poke out. But really, normally I would look for much bigger looking plants of that hairy fruited parsley. It's, like I said, it's kind of like a biscuit root. I knew it for a long time as Mucinian, but there's 3 different plants that I know as Mucinian out here, and so more recently I've learned to distinguish this one by the English name of hairy fruited parsley, and then look at the other ones out here as leafy Mucinian and 9-leaf desert parsley. But all of them really have this same kind of white starchy root, like a biscuit root, and very important food source in the past, especially this time of year, coming out of the winter starvation. Got your first eggs, waterfowl eggs going, and then you get your first kind of starchy roots that you can depend on, and that's these ones. So those are some of the ones that I'm going to show my students in the coming week. But there are others. I'm also looking for yellow bells in particular, maybe even very early yellow prairie violets, and then some of the non-edibles like the crocus should be out now down here. We'll see what else. Maybe even certainly moss phlox will be out down here. Maybe even a very early couple of mustards. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see. And it's kind of warm today, probably about 8 or 9 degrees. I'm not sure. So I am going to take a look at the snakes see if they're up as well. Okay, I apologize for the wind, but I'm over at the rattlesnake hibernaculum now, and or nearby anyway, walked away from it, but I did peek in. There are some snakes basking right at in the entrance of the hibernaculum, so I'm going to try to get a camera up there slowly and quietly. Hopefully I won't disturb them too much, or at least we'll get some shots before I do. So, by the way, this is not the preferred footwear for going and checking out snake dens, but because I'm very familiar with this den, I know where all the snakes are most likely going to be. I feel comfortable, but for the average person, not a good idea. It looks like that's a snake that's been hit by a predator. I'm going to pull it out and see whether it's a garter snake or a rattlesnake. The rattlesnakes actually at this den must have overheard me when I was talking into the camera before, and they've scooted along. I did see one other garter snake take off out this way. There are other entrances to the den that I'm going to check as well. This is not just a single den, this is like a complex here. Alright, I've pulled the one who was upside down beside the den out. This is him here. He is that's a yearling, not even a yearling, but first year rattlesnake, prairie rattlesnake. And he's dead. Not exactly sure why he's dead, but he certainly is deceased. This is still pretty limber. There's this green stain on his belly. I'm betting that's where his gallbladder is. Because it tends to be when these snakes are, something's wrong with them and I open them up to investigate, the gallbladder tends to be this really bad color green. So that seems to go with snake deaths, whether it's, by accident or what have you. He is, still pretty warm to the touch almost. I wonder if he's looking at his eyeball here, see if he has any responses at all. Doesn't look like it. Even if he does, that's a sure sign that he's going to die right there. That gallbladder is bad. Whatever's gone on, it's not good for this snake. Here's some of that early mustard I was talking about. I still haven't seen any more snakes, but they're not really what I'm here for anyway. This plant is a very small mustard. I still haven't figured out its species, but I see it every year. And I know it's a mustard by the four-petaled flower on it. I think I'm coming close to an identification. And really, ultimately, I want to know all the plants out here. So I can't let something like that slide by. All the plants and animals, even anything that I can see with the naked eye, I want to be able to identify it ultimately. If you can't identify something, then you don't pay attention to it, and you won't appreciate its role in the ecology. So the identification is just basically stage one. And ultimately I'll have this one ID'd and I'll know what's going on. But yeah, no other snakes that I've seen so far, but I'm gonna continue on down the hill and go look for some of those yellow bells, see if they're out, see if I need to lead my students that far down. couple of snakes under the grass right here. That's not the only one. I might have actually even stepped on one. I'm going to reroute around from a different direction and be a little bit more cautious where I step. I wasn't using my stick enough in front of me, which I should have been, and so I've come across a couple of snakes just under the grass. It's not a place where they want to be, and it's not a place where I want to encounter them either. So yeah, it's one upset rattlesnake, and don't blame him. I had to jump back really. But it's not a smart idea to be jumping when you come across a snake like this, because there could be others, and in fact in this case there are for sure. So jumping around does not do you any good. If you come across a rattlesnake like this, your best bet is just to stay out of strike range, which isn't far. Rattlesnake's typical strike range is about half its body length. With a younger snake, you might want to get the full body length away. You can see though with this snake how he's coiled up like this S. That gives him his length, and that's about half his body length there, poised to strike if he has to. Now notice, you know, I've got this camera right up on him and he's not striking. They don't want to strike, and we shouldn't, in my estimation, we shouldn't put them in a situation where they feel like they need to strike either. When he's like this, in fact, I almost feel like waiting it out here, letting him calm down so that he knows that I'm not a big threat to him. Yeah, I don't know whether that's helpful or not. I mean, in consideration that most people would consider him a threat, and might actually pose a danger to him if they came across him like I did. But yeah, there's definitely one more snake under the grass, and I'm not sure if I stepped on it or put any weight on it or not. It was definitely right under my feet when they started to buzz, so they weren't expecting me. And actually right here I wasn't really expecting them, but I should have been more careful. I know this is snake territory. So alright, I'm almost down to the coulee bottom now. I should be coming across some yellow bells, I hope. Maybe a few Kipiapi and Blackfoot. That's the prairie crocus. I just noticed there was a I don't know if he's gone now. There was a stonefly, Isocapnia stonefly, crawling on my arm. Oh, it's right here. It was on my neck now. Don't know if you can see that on my I just pulled it off of my neck. Isocapnia stoneflies are the first ones to emerge at the beginning of the year. You know, if you're a fly fisher down here on the what is really in Blackfoot the Belly River, this is not really the Old Man. In the Blackfoot, this is still known as Mokoansisach, the Belly River, although to everybody else it's known as the Old Man. But yeah, if you're down here fly fishing the Old Man River, which is illegal this time of year actually, but because there is a fish run. But if you happen to be, my recommendation is to use something that looks like the Isocapnia stonefly, because that's the fly who's out here early in the season. Here we have a couple of Otsikini. Otsikini are the buffalo bean, or also known as golden bean, and some of them will start flowering here pretty quick. Really, the flower moon, which is the first summer moon, which is a whole cycle away from us, about 4.5 weeks away from us, is named after that plant, Otsikini. In fact, some, you know, in Browning, I think, it's still known as Otsikiniatos, like the moon of that flower. Up this way, it's known more generally as Apistishkitsatos, the flower moon. But this really is the flower that's talking about. It's an important flower. It's one that I've mentioned to my students. Here's one already in bloom. And we'll see in the coming weeks, we'll see a lot of them go to bloom. They are a little bit ahead of the lunar cycle that they're named after. And that might have something to do with the climate change, I'm not sure. But in any case, in the past, when those bloom, that's the timing for two different things. One of them is hunting for buffalo calves to get the calf robes, which were held in high esteem, and all the kids used to get new calf robes every year. It's kind of like their Nike Jordans or something like that. Everybody had to have a calf robe at the beginning of the summer season. And it's actually a very famous story of Miocpocoix, the Pleiades constellation, the bunch stars, lost children, it's called in Blackfoot, Miocpocoix, where there's some kids that do not receive their calf robe, and as a result they end up going to the sky and complaining to the sun about how their parents and others have treated them, and ultimately a very bad drought falls upon the people because of it. So that's one aspect of and now of course the Pleiades go into hiding this time of year. So that's one aspect of that flower that's important. Another thing about that flower that's important is that when those bloom, those yellow petals are collected and used as a fertilizer, or were in the past as a fertilizer for the tobacco planting, which is a very important ceremony in the past. It hasn't been done for just over 60 years now. We're hoping to revitalize it at some point, but it's a big ceremony. Here I'm at the bottom now, and you can see I'm starting to run into the yellow bells as I was expecting to. This is one of the plants that I want to show my students over this coming week. All right, I see my target down here. That's what I was hoping to find. Kipiapi. Right there. Prairie crocus in Blackfoot. Kipiapi. Kind of means like an eye. Quick look, and then it's going to be gone, because these just come out and then disappear. A lot of them up here where I seen them in the past. So this will be another something that I show my students this week, along with other things. Several insects I want to show them, but really I just wanted to feel confident, make sure that I had some of the plants and animals out here that I was expecting, so that the curriculum material that I have for this week will make sense. I got to get all the way back up, way up at the top up there in about 20 minutes, so I gotta go pick up my daughter from work. So unless I see something really interesting on the way up that I need to pause for, otherwise I'm just going to ruck march as quick as I can. Almost to the top now, just a little ways to go. I'm just about to the part of the road that they've etched out. I've just come across a black morph tiger beetle, cowpath tiger beetle. Actually, I saw a pair of the green morph cowpath tiger beetle made in below, which is something that I expect in the next moon a lot of. But even in starting in this moon, it's not surprising. Oh, the black one just flew away. I was going to show you. But yeah, that's about the only other thing that I've been seeing so far. As I just kind of quickly ruck my way up, are the tiger beetles doing their thing. And I had fully expected to see them as well. So looking forward now to meeting some people out here tomorrow evening, showing them a little bit of my world. And hopefully not having any dangerous encounters like I did today, because I don't think that's appropriate for most people.